Hey folks, welcome back. So there's this whole notion that, oh, your people don't date my people, which, isn't really true, to be honest. You really gotta be thoughtful and have some situational awareness of the type of woman that you're talking to.
Lila, let's talk.
So some of my guy friends who are not Ethiopian Eritrean, who's like, yeah, I've never had a problem getting to know Habesha women and their families have loved me, right? And I've had other people who are like, oh, I've never gotten a chance. I'm gonna keep it real. So the truth is, it really just depends on the woman that you're talking about. I talk about this concept about Americanized and non-Americanized, and I will say that if someone was born and raised in America, I think 9 times out of 10, unless they have really, conservative, traditional parents, they're gonna have an open mind about dating outside their culture because the American culture is part of their culture too, right? They're Ethiopian American, they're Eritrean American, and so being American is something that they can understand and assimilate to very easily, versus people who are not Americanized or people who came here recently to this country. They more likely will not be as open-minded. You have to see Ethiopians and Eritreans as, yes, we're Black, but we're also immigrants, right? Immigrants that have a very tight-knit community. Especially living in DC, people will notice that, Habesha people stick together. They, usually stay in the same apartment complexes, or they will eat in the same places or get their hair done in the same places because there's a large community and sense of gathering here. Yes, we are a tight-knit community, and, I have to be honest, we're not as open as other African countries, except for like maybe East Africans, Kenyans, Somalians, the Horn. That's just all because of just familiarity. There's more similar things related to those countries. If they're in other states in America, they'll probably be forced to assimilate with others that don't look like them, and so they'll be more exposed and they'll be more open-minded. So this is just my opinion, it's not fact, but this is kind of the observations that I've made, right? So you have to think it as a country that's used to certain customs, certain religions, used to certain physique and appearances. It's a level of similarity and familiarity with that type of people. Ethiopian Eritreans are very proudful people, probably the most proudful people in Africa, and Nigeria is right there with us as far as their identity of being from that country. That says a lot about the potential willingness to get to know other people from other countries. So when I hear a lot of Americans who try to get to know Ethiopian women, they're like, oh, that they're stuck up or they didn't talk to me. First of all, don't assume they even understand what you're saying. There's a lot of people who recently have come to this country and they're maybe not fluent in English, and they might be actually insecure and uncomfortable with that. And so it's not maybe even have anything to do with you. They're just a matter of like, they're not able to understand what you're saying or asking them, and they're feeling shy or uncomfortable speaking English to you if they're a person who doesn't speak English. I'll also say if she's not accustomed to American guys hollering at them.
Excuse me. I think I've seen your picture somewhere before. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was in the dictionary next to kablam!
How men approach a woman, especially a traditional, non-Americanized woman.
Plus, I don't have any early classes. That means we could sleep in.
You're relentless.
It's gonna be different. Spitting that game, getting in her face. Trying to even, touch her on her elbow.
Hey. My name's Will. Welcome to the Peacock, where our motto is, girl, whatever you got, I want it.
They may not understand, like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, there's, this is not enough personal space. Okay, you might want to question your way that you pursue that person, right? Maybe you're a little too aggressive, or two, they just may not be interested in you, and that very well could be the case. They might be attracted to the people that is from their country, right? And so just like people who are from China are probably more attracted to people who are from China than other countries, or other ethnicities might be attracted to their own ethnicity. Just the fact that there are similarities with people who look like them, they know their culture, and so Habesha people will be attracted to Habesha men. So do you think it's wrong, or do you think it's odd that they want to date someone who has a similar background as them? I don't think so. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. There are some people, not the majority, I don't think, but there are some that do have some, racial undertone biases against other Black ethnicities. And where does that come from? You guys know how powerful the media is. Movies and the news, all that's feeding and creating this narrative about certain Americans.
We took the heat we got from telly, started to take over all the Saint shit.
And it's not right, it's not correct. These are some of the assumptions that they're having prior to coming to this country. So it isn't until they come here, and not just come here, but let's say they stay within their insular group, they're gonna continue to do that. So therefore, they need more exposure. They need to get to know people from different communities. But the ones who go beyond that, maybe when they go to work or when they're walking down the street and they're socializing and having different sets of friends, that's when you're gonna see, okay, oh, you know what, that's not right. That's not the case. The younger generation, you're seeing so many people being mixed with so many different cultures. You know, my friend who owns a company called Favored by Yodi, that's what she does. She does multicultural weddings, and majority of the time, it is Habesha people dating non-Habesha people. A lot of my friends in my immediate circle, about 5 different girls that I know, dated non-Habesha guys. So I'm not saying that's a good thing or bad thing, but I'm just saying that it does happen. So when people come and make comments like, oh, your people don't date bi people, your people don't date black people, I think they just need to challenge themselves on, one, what type of girl are you kind of approaching? 2, how are you really approaching that? Are you approaching them in a way that will be received well by them and their preferences are on how someone talks to them? I just encourage everyone, regardless of your culture or your background, just have a little bit of, patience of where someone might be coming from. Don't take rejection as a sense of coming from a malice or racial place, because it's not usually, I really don't think it's coming from a malicious negative space. Let's not be quick to cast these broad assumptions about people. Hopefully I didn't upset anyone in this video. I'm just trying to give my take on what I think, trying to keep it real with you. So yes, Habesha people do date non-Habesha people. Yes, there are a few minority of folks who still have racial prejudice and having this level of superiority against other Africans and people who are Black American. That's there, but it's not that common and it's not that prevalent. So I think if you see a person that you're interested in, just go talk to them, and take it slow. Be friends first. Get to know them, get to know their culture. And I think that will go over well, wooing them or setting a strong impression. But if you have any questions, make sure you check out my dating advice, Ethiopians and Eritreans, right here, because that kind of gives you a lot of the basic foundational cultural customs that we have, particularly when you're dating, as well as if you're interested in getting married, what you need to really know. This is, some of my advice that I have for you. I hope it was informative. I hope you learned something. And, tell me what's your experience been? Have you had experiences, positive or negative, dating Ethiopian or Eritreans? Please share your comments below. Let's have a conversation. We just all need to be more open-minded. We need to have an open heart and, just get to know people and get to know people's culture.